Bear down, Chicago Bears. We're about 24 hours from the next game coming up at noon tomorrow against the Atlanta Falcons in Chicago. And we're starting to ask some weird questions here because we're getting to the end of the run and a decision's going to have to be made about what to do with Justin. Is there anything to do? And how does this affect the rest of it? Is this Darnell Mooney's swan song? Is this his last game in Chicago? Are we moving on? What really is happening and where are we going? I'm going to try to give you a little bit of insight into that. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below letting me know that you support Justin Fields. Or if you don't support Justin Fields, go ahead and tell me why it's important that we have this discussion, and we'll talk about it. So first, I want to point out 19% of Bears fans will move on if the team lets their favorite player go. That's a big number right there. So guys, look, if you're a fan of the Chicago Bears, where do you become a fan of Justin Fields and not the Chicago Bears? It's a little bit odd. I think Justin Fields has been very polarizing as an athlete for this community because number one, he is a stand-up gentleman. He's been a beacon of light to the communities. He's been great for everybody, but there are still people who look at him as, I want to say a savior. I want to say, somebody who can change the dynamic of this team. They look at him in so many different ways, in ways that are probably not great for the team, I want to say, because look, at the end of the day, we're all together in our love for the Chicago Bears, not Justin Fields. Justin Fields is supposed to be one of the answers that's going to help us along the way, but he's not the answer. He's just a piece of a team that has 50 or so people on it at any given time, plus a whole bunch of coaches. So why are we this ingrained into it? I don't think that's healthy, by the way. However, I am on the side of Justin Fields. Now, if they move on and we go to a Drake May or a Caleb Williams or somebody else, then I'm going to support that guy. But here's the thing: the Chicago Bears fan base is very frustrated by what they've seen so far in the team ownership and in their ability to come up with solutions to the problems that we've been facing. And those solutions basically come down to winning. We've had a problem winning lately, and a lot of the fan base feels like Justin Fields is that guy. And if you're not seeing it, then you're not paying attention to what they're seeing. And that's a big disconnect. So how do we fix that? I don't know that we fix it immediately, but look, we have to be honest and say that the worst defense in the league, Arizona Cardinals, Justin Fields, 15 of 27 for 170 yards. He couldn't even throw 200 yards against the worst defense. That should speak volumes. Now, that is a bad indicator and a bad sign. However, a lot of people want to discredit the fact that Cole Kmet was out of the game. That's his valve. And DJ Moore was injured for portions of the game and not playing well when he was because he was injured. So basically, the two reliable receivers that he's had all season long, and guys, statistically, both of those guys have between 50 and 70 receptions. Darnell Mooney comes in way below that. So, in fact, Roshan Johnson is, I think, tied with Darnell Mooney for receptions at this point. So, there's no team here that can do what you want it to do. So now you're asking the question, like, what is going on here? Why is he not passing for that? Well, I'm going to give him a pass on that. But, I think it's still important that we note that this is a divisive person right now. And he's divisive because I think the fan base, like, we believe in Justin Fields. And we're not getting the same feeling out of the team right now. Ryan Poles keeping it close to the vest. Matt Eberflus saying no decision has been made. Kevin, quiet the entire time, hasn't said a word, and just letting it all play out. So, but let's move on from there and let's talk about the other piece. And this is Matt Eberflus issued what he calls the 200 challenge to Justin Fields, and that means that what he was looking for was Justin to have 2 touchdowns, 0 sacks, 0 turnovers per games. Just want to tell you guys, hasn't done it yet, but it's been giving him a lower goal. And what Matt Eberflus has been doing. And this is going to change, I think, the dynamic of what a lot of you guys have been thinking so far. And I think you should be aware of this. He's been, his statement was basically, look, we want the defense to win the game for you. We want you to just manage this game. We want you to get through 2 touchdowns. We don't want you to turn the ball over. We don't want you to take a sack. We don't want you to play behind the sticks. We don't want you to have bad plays. We don't want you to have negative stuff. Now, the reason for that is because Matt Eberflus wants the defense to win games for you. Now, that right there should indicate to you that what Luke Getsy is doing is endorsed by Matt Eberflus. Now, if you didn't think so before, and I was not sure of that before, what I thought was, maybe he's just understanding that Luke Getsy thinks a certain way and he doesn't want to make a move or doesn't want to move on from Luke Getsy in the middle of the season, because who else are you going to go with? I mean, you can't change the entire offense on a whim, I guess, in the middle of the season, according to maybe his brain. But it turns out Matt Eberflus, Luke Getsy appears to be doing exactly what Matt Eberflus wanted. Now, we've experienced some frustration in communication with Matt Eberflus when he said, we're going to evaluate this at the end of the season. We should be passing down the field more. There's a lot of conversations that he seems to be having with the media that we don't seem to see that he's having with Luke Getsy. And you got to be asking yourself, like, why is that? Like, what is going on with this situation? So, there's a question out there, and that question is really simple. Like, you haven't done 200 at all, and everything seems to not work the way that you want it to work. Like, what is missing in this piece? And that goes back to, is Justin Fields the problem? But here's the thing. I still don't think that he's the problem. I still think he is a problem. I still think that there's some growth that he really needs. I think there's really a lot of growth and maturity that Justin Fields needs in the position. But I think it does him no service that he's not had games called properly for him so far to the benefit of his skill set. And look, that's a difficult pill to swallow for I think any coach who wants to be in charge, wants to be in control. I think that's a very difficult process there. So I think Luke Getsy obviously has to go. And I know we've run this into the ground, but Luke Getsy obviously has to. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see how this plays out. And then this is the other piece right here. Finally, will the Justin Fields, Matt Eberflus relationship continue to be the bedrock of the Bears rebuild? And look, I want to say this. I want to say that these two guys have been working together, and the results have been mixed at best. However, we can't understate that Justin Fields, if we just consider that largely we all agree, or we seem to agree, Luke Getsy has been a problem for this team. If we just consider that, and we consider that a more dynamic coach could come in and change a little bit about this scheme and get the ball downfield, plus you have a draft where you can get some offensive talent to complement DJ Moore, to complement Cole Kmet, to create more opportunity. If you can just get one more good draft, Ryan Poles, then I think the end result of this is you now have a team, and you now have a quarterback and a coach who are, number one, both on the hot seat. And look, I want to say this. If you think Caleb Williams is your answer, Caleb Williams will be coming into the same situation that Justin Fields is in. He will not be better. He will be the same as Justin Fields, because drafting Caleb Williams doesn't create a receiving core. It doesn't create a better offensive line. There's still problems. Braxton Jones been okay this year, but we kind of expected him to be just a little bit better. Lucas Patrick, a little bit better. Tevin Jenkins been really good this year. Darnell Wright, really good this year. But we're just patchwork on the center position. Cody White here, his best days are obviously behind him. So there are some problems, and those problems will still be here no matter who the quarterback is. So what is the play? What is the next move? And how do we reconcile a lot of this? And that's really the question right now. And I don't know what the answer is. I think that the answer is you hold on to Justin Fields. I think that the answer is you draft a game changer like Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that you draft Malik Neighbors, and now you fixed, I think, the receiving core for 4 years. I think that that's what you do. You've already signed Komet. You've already got DJ Moore for a couple more. You've fixed everything that needs to be fixed on that offense at that point, and now you can draft people to work their way into the lineup at the offensive line position, and you can go out in free agency and get yourself a nice center, or you can draft a good center in in the draft. Like, you have so many options, and it looks so obvious to me that I hope it looks the same way for Ryan Poles. Now, if you follow me for a length of time, you know that I've been a fan of Jared Verse because I think the defense needs a right end. But I would be willing to say Yannick Ngakoue with a little more time, a little more, let's call it seasoning under his belt, a little bit more time with the Bears. That maybe this is the bookends that we need with Montez Sweat and Yannick Ngakoue. So I would take a pass on Jared Verse if I had to, just to get two big wide receivers. Now, Rome Odunze still sits out there, and I think he's about the third best receiver in a very deep receiver field. So there's plenty of different options that are out there, and I'm curious to know what it is that you guys think. Let me know in the comments section down below. I'm really fascinated to find out, what do you think the deal is here? You hear me talking about it, you know what I say, and I say that Justin Fields needs to be here, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and bear down. We will talk to you again very, very soon.